Hey guys, we're super excited to be here at the LA Fit Expo. It's our third year in a row. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be launching a tasty pastry. It's a low-carb Pop-Tart. It's got 3 to 4 grams of net carbs. And we love this show. This is our best place to be in LA.
Welcome back to Legendary Foods, Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Friday, November 7th, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. I think it takes a Titan to take down a Titan. Those words came directly from Logan Franklin, who went on the record in an interview last week to talk about his feelings heading into this classic physique Olympia. In the interview, Logan went on to say that he believes he's capable of bringing in better overall packaging than the current champ, and his level of conditioning and stage presence should be enough to earn him a spot in the first call-out. With George and Keon out of the show this year, it does mean that 40% of last year's top 5 are completely out of the equation, which opens things up for someone like Logan to slide into those openings. And since the margin for error in this division is so slim, anything can happen if Chris shows up off. But Logan still needs to take care of business on his end if he wants to give himself a puncher's chance. On Wednesday, we reported on UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's decision to institute a countryside lockdown in England, effective immediately. But by now, I think it's pretty well documented that not even a nation mandate is enough to keep Nathan Asha from doing what he was born to do. A few days ago, Nathan's team released a handful of videos from inside Prophecy Performance Center, where he and his crew were busy after a pretty intense shoulder workout. In a lot of ways, I think being in the gym for Nathan is more important symbolically than anything else, because it's representative of how committed he is to standing up for what he believes in. This just is not about bodybuilding or the Olympia. For him, this is about doing what he believes is right. It's about principles and morals and being true to what you believe in the face of adversity. And even though I'm sure it isn't easy, doing what you believe is right usually isn't. But something tells me this fight is still far from over. Man, it's a tough time to be a Texas sports fan right now, isn't it? The Longhorns are trash, the Cowboys are a joke, and the whole state still has a little bit of baseball stink hanging over it from the Astros scandal. But luckily for you guys, the Battle of Texas Pro is coming up, and that means we're about to see Courage Opara make his season debut. And based on what I'm hearing, Courage and his team think they're on track to beat the look that earned him a top 5 finish at the Olympia last year, which should make him one of the early frontrunners heading into this contest. I think it's also worth noting that this show is scheduled for the first weekend in December, which isn't all that far away from the Arnold Classic if it takes place again in March. So if everything goes as expected in Texas, I think it sets the stage for him to roll right into the Arnold, where we could potentially be a top 3 candidate. According to Stanford professor and New York Times bestselling author Jim Collins, one of the keys to building successful companies that stand the test of time is being able to preserve your core ideology while simultaneously stimulating progress. And in a lot of ways, the same is true for bodybuilding. And we can see a little bit of that at work with Dwayne Quamina. Over the last year or so, Dwayne's poured a ton of time and energy into rebuilding a physique that was already pretty damn good to begin with, by staying anchored in a few really fundamental principles in his diet and training. At this point, he hasn't said when or if he's planning to compete again anytime soon, but this new version of Dwayne looks like he might have already outgrown the 212 division. So if he does end up making a comeback sometime next season, I wouldn't rule out seeing him make his debut in the open division. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions, and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.